Alright, listen up. The world as we knew it is gone. The grid is down, the taps are dry, and the silence is deafening. In this new world, the rules have changed. Your priorities have been stripped down to the bare essentials: shelter, fire, food, and water. Of all these, water is the most critical. You can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without water. It's the fuel for your body, the engine that keeps you moving, thinking, and fighting for another day. Finding a water source is your #1 mission as soon as you have a secure location. It's more precious than gold, more valuable than any weapon. Don't just look for the obvious rivers or lakes, as they might be heavily contaminated or contested by others. You need to think like an animal to read the land. Look for lush, green vegetation, as it's a sure sign that water is nearby. Follow animal tracks downhill. They often lead to a hidden spring or a creek. In the morning, look for fog collecting in low-lying areas. Even collecting dew from leaves with a cloth can give you a vital few sips. Remember, desperation can make you do foolish things, but drinking from a questionable source without treating it is a gamble you can't afford to take. Survival is about stacking the odds in your favor, not rolling the dice. That water you just collected might look refreshing, but it's a biological battlefield. It's teeming with enemies you can't see, smell, or taste. We're talking about bacteria, viruses, and protozoa. These microscopic organisms are silent assassins. Things like Giardia and Cryptosporidium are parasites that will set up camp in your intestines, causing severe diarrhea, vomiting, and stomach cramps. In a world without doctors or medicine, a simple case of dysentery can lead to severe dehydration, weakness, and ultimately, death. You become an easy target, not just for the elements, but for anyone else who might see you as a source of supplies. Your strength will be sapped, and your will to survive will be tested to its absolute limit. The threat doesn't stop with parasites. Bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella, often washed into water sources from animal or human waste, can hit you just as hard. They bring on high fevers, crippling stomach pain, and relentless sickness. Your body will be losing fluids faster than you can replace them. You also have to consider chemical contaminants, especially in urban or industrial areas. The water could be polluted with heavy metals, pesticides, or industrial runoff from decaying factories. These toxins won't necessarily make you sick overnight, but they can build up in your system, causing long-term damage and slowly poisoning you from the inside. This is why the location of your water source is so important. A clear, fast-flowing stream high in the mountains is always a better bet than a stagnant pool in the middle of a ruined city. Always assess the area upstream. What's up there? An old factory, a farm, the ruins of a town? What flows downhill flows into your water bottle. So before you even think about drinking, you must respect the danger. Every sip of untreated water is a gamble with your life. The symptoms won't appear instantly, which is what makes it so treacherous. You might drink, feel fine for a day or two, and then it hits you like a freight train. By then, it's too late. The first step in purification is getting rid of the big stuff. You need to strain the water to remove leaves, twigs, insects, and visible sediment. This is called pre-filtration. You don't need fancy gear for this. Find a piece of cloth, a t-shirt, a bandana, a scrap of fabric from a car seat, and stretch it over the mouth of your collection container. Pour the water through it slowly. You might have to do this several times. The goal here is to make the water less murky. This step is vital because it makes the next stages of filtration and purification much more effective. Large particles can clog your filter and shield germs from being killed later on. Now we build a proper filter. This will remove the finer particles of silt, clay, and some of the larger pathogens. Nature and the ruins around you provides everything you need. Get a container you can poke a hole in, like a plastic bottle or a can. Cut the bottom off the bottle and turn it upside down. Now, we layer. Start with a piece of cloth over the nozzle to hold everything in. The first layer at the bottom should be small pebbles or gravel. This helps with drainage. Next, add a layer of sand. If you can't find sand, you can crush soft rocks or bricks into a coarse powder. This layer will trap a lot of the finer sediment. The magic ingredient is charcoal. This is your secret weapon. Find remnants of a clean campfire. Avoid charcoal from fires that burned plastics or chemicals. Crush the charcoal into a fine powder. This isn't just for trapping grit. Charcoal is brilliant at adsorption. That means it can pull many chemical impurities and even some bacteria out of the water, improving the taste and smell. Add a thick layer of crushed charcoal on top of the sand. Then add another layer of sand on top of the charcoal, and finally, another layer of gravel. This multi-layered system forces the water to pass through progressively finer materials, cleaning it at each stage. It mimics the way the earth itself purifies groundwater. Once your filter is built, pour your pre-filtered water into the top slowly. Don't just dump it all in at once. Give it time to trickle through the layers. The first water that comes out might still be dirty, carrying some of the loose charcoal dust. Discard this first bit. Soon, the water dripping from the bottom will be noticeably clearer than what you put in. It's a fantastic feeling, seeing that transformation. You've taken muddy, unappealing water and with your own hands and ingenuity, turned it into something that looks clean. But remember, looks can be deceiving. The water is clearer, but it is not yet safe. The most dangerous enemies are still lurking within. Your water looks clean, but it's not. It's still crawling with those microscopic killers we talked about. The final step, disinfection, is the one that will truly save your life. The most reliable method, the gold standard of water purification, is boiling. Boiling water for at least 1 full minute will kill virtually all bacteria, viruses, and protozoa. If you're at a high altitude, say above a mile or 2,000 meters, you need to boil it for at least 3 minutes because water boils at a lower temperature up there. You'll need a metal container that can withstand fire and a way to make that fire. This is why a simple metal pot or even a stainless steel water bottle is one of the most valuable pieces of kit you can have. What if you can't make a fire? Maybe you're on the move or fuel is scarce, or you don't want to give away your position with smoke. There is another way, and all it requires is the sun. It's a method called SODIS, or solar water disinfection. You need a clear plastic bottle for this. A PET bottle is best. Fill the bottle with your filtered water, screw the cap on tight, and lay it on its side in direct, bright sunlight. Prop it up on a dark or reflective surface to increase the heat. The sun's UV rays will penetrate the water and destroy the DNA of the germs, rendering them harmless. On a clear, sunny day, 6 hours is enough. If it's partly cloudy, you should leave it out for 2 full days to be safe. It's a slow method, but it's silent, free, and effective. Finding supplies for these methods requires a scavenger's eye. Metal pots, cans, and stainless steel bottles can be found in abandoned homes, campsites, or stores. Look for fabric for your pre-filter and discarded clothing or upholstery. Plastic bottles for your filter or for SODIS are everywhere in the ruins of the old world. For charcoal, look for the remains of old campfires or fireplaces, but always be sure of what was burned. Never use charcoal from a fire that consumed pressure-treated wood, plastics, or other chemical-laden materials. Never, ever skip a step. Each stage in this process has a purpose. Straining removes the big debris that would ruin the rest of the process. Filtering removes the fine sediment and some contaminants, making the water clearer and cleaner. And finally, disinfection, by boiling or sunlight, is the knockout blow that kills the invisible germs that would otherwise kill you. From a muddy puddle to a safe, life-giving drink, you have the power to make it happen. Mastering this process isn't just about finding a drink, it's about taking control of your destiny in a world where control is a rare commodity. Stay smart, stay disciplined, and you will survive.